When our hormones are off around menopause, we feel off, don't we? And in this video, I'm going to share with you my most recent and up-to-date lab test results because I am actually on hormone replacement therapy. However, I've had a lot of ups and downs with it, which I'm going to talk about. Hello fam, and welcome to my channel. My name's Melissa Neal, and this channel is all about helping you if you're a woman over 40 or like me over 50, get in amazing shape. But one of the things that can prevent us from doing that is our hormones are all over the place. We can have low levels of hormones. If you're in perimenopause, your hormones can be sort of fluctuating. Having your hormones in check doesn't necessarily help you lose weight, and I've discussed this before because I got in incredible shape and got in stage condition without the use of hormone replacement therapy. But what hormone replacement therapy can do is actually ease your menopause symptoms. So some of those are things like anxiety, lack of motivation, depression, hot flashes, night sweats, the list goes on. I think there's about 30 different symptoms, including things like skin conditions. With my personal journey, so I went through menopause, I'm 56 now, a couple of years ago. My symptoms were kind of getting worse and worse and worse, and I was waking up 6 times in the night with night sweats, and I found it really difficult to get a good night's sleep. I was really suffering from anxiety. So I approached my doctor to take hormone replacement therapy, and they put me on patches initially, and they actually took me off progesterone altogether because I was taking that as birth control. So they put me on estrogen but took me off progesterone. And what I found is initially when I started taking the estrogen, yes, my night sweats reduced, but after a while it kind of wore off and I didn't feel I was getting any benefit at all. And that was when I was going through my local doctor. So I decided to go to a specialist menopause clinic, and I have actually made a couple of videos about that. I'm going to link one up here. And what they did is they give me a full blood test, and what they found is actually I had low levels of estrogen, low levels of progesterone, and low levels of testosterone. So that can be a really big problem, and I'm going to share now what's happened since I've been on a different dosage and different HRT. So having visited the menopause clinic and getting those test results, what they did is they put me on this estrogen gel. Now that is bioidentical, and because I wasn't on any kind of progesterone at all, what they recommended is these progesterone tablets, and that's what I take, and I take those before I go to sleep at night. And I tell you what, since I've been on these, I get an amazing night's sleep. It did actually make me feel better taking estrogen and progesterone. But what they said, although my testosterone levels were low as well, they said they can't actually prescribe that to me until they've got my estrogen levels and my progesterone levels up. So I've been taking those and I'm experiencing relief from symptoms. Then they said I can go back and have a look at testosterone and whether that's the right thing for me. It's not the right thing for everybody, apparently. So what I did find in the 6 months of taking estrogen and that progesterone, as I said, sleeping a lot better, my symptoms were a lot better, so night sweats, that sort of thing, it's really gone into kind of non-existence now, and less anxiety. But what I was still finding is my energy levels just weren't back up to normal. And so what I did, they wanted me to sort of keep on taking this for 6 months and revisit them to discuss my symptoms, and I see a fantastic menopause. She's actually a nurse practitioner, but she's way better than my general doctor was, so really happy with this place. If you live in the UK, they're the Bristol Menopause Clinic. I would recommend them. I'm not being sponsored by them. Anywhere in the country can have an online consultation, so I will link that in the description. So what I did was go back and see someone to talk about my menopause symptoms. So what they did is compare what my menopause symptoms were like before and then what I was describing having been on estrogen and progesterone for 6 months. My menopause doctor did say to me this one thing that might be helpful to you, and she said, because you're still feeling not back to normal, I was experiencing lack of libido, I was experiencing kind of tiredness, quite extreme tiredness still. She said for many women a small dose of testosterone can be the missing piece in the jigsaw puzzle, and she said we don't need to retest you, we already know that your testosterone is low. And so she recommended this testosterone. Now it's a gel, and that pack there is normally prescribed to men. I don't take that whole packet. I take 1/8 of that. In other words, it takes me 8 days to use that packet. That's the dosage for me. So it's been, I would say, a real game changer. My libido is back up. I feel better. I've got my energy back. So yeah, I would say it's the missing piece in the jigsaw puzzle. If you want to read up more about this, there's a great book by a lady called Davina McCall, and if you're watching from the UK, you'll know her really well, but if you're watching in the USA, you may not be familiar with her. And she's written a book called Menopausing, and I am going to link it in the description to Amazon where you can purchase it, because she talks about testosterone, not only her own journey with testosterone but her experience with testosterone. I think it seems to me like it's a bit of a taboo subject. I thought long and hard before I made a video about it, because some people might think you kind of have a competitive advantage when it comes to kind of building muscle, but we're just talking about putting back what you don't have. It's not like I've got more testosterone than the average menopausal woman. And I'm now going to share with you my sort of test results. And I don't actually have a copy of the original test results. They didn't send that to me, but they talked me through. So I've got 1.18 nanograms of testosterone now, so that's not particularly high. It's in the standard range for my age, 0.198 to 2.67. I'm in the kind of middle of that normal range. Now, the other thing they tested was my sex hormone binding globulin, because that actually tells them how much estrogen and testosterone. It's another marker that they can use, and it's actually connected with your liver. So my value is 65.3 nanograms. The normal range is 16.8 to 125. So I'm kind of in the midway of that. And then my estrogen levels are 142.3, and post-menopause, the normal range is 18.4 to 505. So not, again, extremely high levels of estrogen. So they don't have a cause for concern with taking all this different HRT to get me to feeling pretty much like a normal woman again. I mean, I wouldn't say I feel like a 20-year-old, but I do feel a lot better. So I hope you found that helpful, sharing that honest review of taking hormone replacement therapy, and in particular testosterone therapy. I know there's a lot of misunderstanding about it, and people think, you're going to get like this huge jaw and receding hairline and a deep deep voice and hair. And certainly the dosage that you're talking about, if you're taking it correctly, it's really small. But what I will tell you is in the UK, you can only have it prescribed to you off license. So you can't get it through your GP. You have to go privately, which I think is such a shame, because for many women, it can be a huge game changer in terms of your quality of life. But let me know what you think in the comments section. I know this issue can be a little bit divisive and people just think you've got to live with the symptoms and just get on with it. I'm of the opinion is if it is affecting and impacting on your quality of life, then do have a chat with your doctor about it. Or like me, if you do have the budget for it, go to a specialist menopause centre where you can get the best possible advice and treatment.